Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. I'm just busy planning CFL Free Agent Frenzy 2024, our big 8-hour live show here on the Canadian Football Countdown for Tuesday, February 13th, where we'll talk about all the major moves around the CFL, like Brady Oliveira, AJ Ouellette, Dalton Schoen, and Darius Pickett. Wait, what do you mean they're all signed? Well, there's still Jamal Peters, Jameer Thurman, William Stanback. Oh, shoot. There they go, too. I need to make a call. Boys, fire up the emergency podcast. Everything is happening. And that was the stupidest intro to a podcast I've ever done. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 242 of the Canadian Football Countdown, a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network and the Alternative Football Network. Everything is happening indeed. A chaotic day of CFL news. We're here to talk through all of it. I'm Ryan, joined as usual by Trey and Adam. Trey, how are you doing today? You are muted.
Who the hell muted me? Who the heck? I was going to say, I can't look at you, Ryan, but I guess we got to get through this next hour together. I'm doing okay. A lot of re-signings, a lot that I didn't think would happen, a lot that, real good. Before we get Adam, I think we got to give we got our cups, boys. Got our cups. Toby Keith, RIP, where it goes. If you need some love tonight, then I might just be enough. I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good as I ever was. To Toby Keith, I love that guy. So there we go. There we go. And Adams is the only one that actually has anything in it. So, because he just came from the rink. But yeah, I'm doing okay. Adam, man, you got some big signings we got to talk about. I was thinking about you today. I said to the old lady, I was like, if there's one person really happy today, I bet it's Adam.
Yeah, definitely a little bit happier than I once was, I guess. The Riders might be as good once as they ever was. But yeah, no, definitely some good signings happening all over the place, particularly in three real teams that I've seen. And of course, the guys that I've got on my hat had a really good day. So we'll see how this carries on. Maybe they'll continue to have a good day.
Yeah, it's a lot of the biggest names off the board, as I teased there in the intro. We'll find things to talk about on Free Agent Frenzy, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday, February 13th, officially a week from today as we're recording this Tuesday night. We'll have full live coverage of that event and very much looking forward to that one. If not new news, we'll be able to rehash everything that's happened over the past month with a variety of different guests. Live free agent tracker. We'll break down every transaction as they happen. So join us for that and help us spread the news as well. It's CFL Free Agent Frenzy for the fans, by the fans. So we've got a low budget, but lots of planning has gone into it, and it's going to be a fun day, and we hope everybody gets involved. But we got to talk about all this news from today as we get here to talk about it all. Brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Game Time TV, which you can learn more by visiting GameTimeTV.ca or Facebook.com/GameTimeTVMB. And before we get into the regular episode, as always, we do want to acknowledge that the Canadian Football Countdown is brought to you from Treaty 1 territory, traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation, as well as from Treaty 4 territory, traditional territory of the Cree, Saulteaux, Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, and Métis Nation. It's been a busy day in the CFL free agency streets. It's been a busy day in the CFC Discord community also, with all the news coming out. Lots of chatter going on there. If you haven't joined already, there's a link in the episode description. Join us free there. We like to chat about all the moves as they come out in the CFL channels there, so you can check that out if you would like as well. I think the proper spot to start here, I mean, I teased some of those names already. We'll go through all the major ones from today and yesterday and the biggest news here. I think we have to start with the running back market, because that was the major topic we talked about last time on our last episode of the podcast, as these big names available in free agency. And just like that, 3 of the top 5 are off the market. And the dominoes started to fall when Brady Oliveira signed a 2-year contract extension with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers earlier today. Let's start there. Or should we just talk about all the running backs kind of in the same vein here? We got Oliveira going back to Winnipeg on a 2-year deal. He's making $240,000-ish, I believe was the price there. AJ Ouellette is leaving the Argos to head to the Saskatchewan Roughriders once the free agent window officially opens. And William Stanback heading over to the BC Lions. It seemed like it was one domino after another quickly falling here. And it all starts with Oliveira. Trey, I know we talked about this a little bit. You didn't think he was coming back to Winnipeg. What was the reaction?
I was pretty happy. I mean, like you said, I didn't think he was coming. I just thought, I want to know how, like, Kyle Walters must just have a big chalkboard or whiteboard just with the salary cap and everything, like constantly calculating it, because I don't know how we can fit everything under this, but he got it done, and then minutes later got Schoen done, right? Which is even crazier to think. But yeah, glad that Oliveira got off the board. I was very nervous. I thought, people were saying BC offered him a lot. I was thinking maybe does he go to Ottawa? A couple options. I thought he was very nifty, but yeah, I was like, if we can't get him though, maybe Ouellette would have come here. Who knows? But we'll see. All right, Adam, what do you think about Oliveira? Did you think he had a chance to go to green, or were you thinking he was all blue?
You know what? I said that, hey, he would look really good in green. In reality, I knew he was probably going to stay with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It's hometown. I think he's got other priorities in his life right now that makes him want to stay at home with the dog shelter. I think he has a dog program that he does in California right now that he's dealing with. And I think it's just a good fit. He's a guy that looked like he really wanted to just stay at home. Wanted to see maybe what he was worth a little bit. That way the only real fair comparison is by asking other teams what you're actually worth. In the end, I'm sure he did a little bit of a finer deal for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers than maybe what he would have got. He would have probably got a little bit more maybe out of the BC Lions or another team in the league. But in the end, it's a good deal for Winnipeg. They get one of the prize pieces of the free agency. And apparently they still had some gas in the tank for later on when we talk wide receivers.
Yeah, this was one that there was no doubt in my mind. I didn't see a possibility of Oliveira going anywhere else but Winnipeg. It just made too much sense for the team to dump everything they could into bringing him back. It made too much sense for Oliveira to be a really good fit there. He's only 2 years into his career. Like, he's building something special there. And I do wonder if that's something that sometimes guys risk, that going elsewhere too early in their career to chase that payday. Granted, careers are, short in football, so you got to make the money while you can. But what happens if you go somewhere else and the whole system isn't the system that, made you excel? And now where does that leave you going forward? So I like the idea of a guy like him re-signing here in Winnipeg. I also thought, and Trey and I were kind of talking about this a little bit before the show, that Kyle Walters and the management crew of the Bombers would have had to really mess up to get this wrong and let Oliveira walk here. And over his time as the GM of the Bombers, I don't think he's messed up in a big way really once. Like, he's made a lot of the necessary moves to keep the team together, to move on from a guy like Andrew Harris when he needed to, which paved the way for Oliveira. I think it would have been an uncharacteristic move of Kyle Walters to let Oliveira go. So, yeah, super stoked as a Bomber fan to see him back in blue and gold for 2 more years, even not just a 1-year deal here with Brady Oliveira. And that was the biggest free agent fish in the running back market immediately off the board. And so then everybody's attention turns over to AJ Ouellette of the Toronto Argonauts, who had himself a pretty fine season as well last year. Let's see, just over 1,000 yards in 15 games for him. And Adam, where does he end up landing? You want to tell us?
Yeah, he ends up over with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Sounds like the entirety of Rider Nation pretty much threw the rest of the day off, took the rest of the day off and celebrated by buying a bunch of little mini plush Thor hammers to celebrate their new running back that's coming over. Not sure on the details. I never heard about the financials on it. But you know what? It's a premier back. It's one of the best running backs in the CFL right now. Probably, arguably the best American back on the market. It was a little bit surprising that Toronto let him go, just because, again, they also let go of another running back earlier or later on, I guess, in the day. I guess they maybe think that Akiboye, is it? Adebayoye? Adebayoye is what he called probably ready to maybe take another step ahead. So maybe a little bit expendable for Toronto. I still think they need a premier back, though, if they want to really go anywhere. So in Saskatchewan's case, the party's on in Riderville. In Toronto's case, yikes, they lost a lot of pieces today. Trey, what did you think of this one for AJ Ouellette?
I love it. Let's be real. He looks like the most Saskatchewan guy who's not a Saskatchewan guy, right? Like I said in our group chat, he gives me big buff vibes. Every off day, he's going to be hunting, fishing out there. He's going to be helping Adam do bales and stuff. Like he just looks like a guy who is Saskatchewan, right? So I wonder if it's a lot of that because he doesn't give me TO the 6 vibes, right? He's not hanging with Drake. He's hanging with Gainer and Pills country kind of guy. And then on the field, I think with the additions the Riders got with their offensive line, with a guy like Yoshi Hardrick and other key pieces, I think I'm looking forward to Saskatchewan this year. And we'll talk about that more as our offseason continues, right? But I think my bet on them is panning out. I wonder what their odds are going forward. I should almost check that to see if the odds would be worse now, I would assume, with Ouellette and Hardrick on your lineup. Ryan, how do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, he's a personality you market around. He is going to be the face of the Riders this season, or one of them at least. And he didn't really, I feel like he didn't get that in Toronto, despite all of like his interesting, like, doesn't he do like wrestling on the side or something like that? Like, there's so much to market with him, and the Argos organization doesn't, and you know, their owners don't do a great job of marketing the team. I mean, I know Chad Kelly was at the NHL All-Star game and participated in the event there, but outside of him, how much of this team is being marketed out to the public outside of the realm of the smaller football community? Not a whole ton. So I think, yeah, he's a guy that you can market, build a brand around here, which is why it's a great fit for the Riders. I think, yeah, he's one of the best free agents out there. If the Bombers couldn't have gotten Oliveira, I would have wanted Ouellette in blue and gold as well. I think any team would be happy to have him, and the Riders are the ones. I've been up and down on him. It's interesting, the journey with him in Toronto, because quite a while ago, I feel like he was the third string when I think James Wilder Jr. was the starter, and he got some time late in the season, and I wanted Ouellette to get more of a chance. But then coming into last year when he was a free agent, I was actually surprised to see the Argos bring him back last year, because I thought it was going to be one more year of Andrew Harris as the starter, Daniel Adebaboye, the Canadian incumbent in the wing, who's going to take over the starting role after Harris retires. And maybe I was just 1 year off. Maybe that's where they're going. Or are the Argos going to look at a guy like Kadeem Carey? You know they love former Calgary Stampeders, and Ryan Dinwiddie loves his former guys there and has seen what he can do. I would be shocked if Kadeem Carey does not get signed by the Argos.
Yeah, I can't see it. I mean, this guy's only 2 years away from being the highest running or most rushing yards in the season for the CFL. I mean, you don't do that easily, and that's not easy to find. And he's available. Most times you'd go after that, but there's such an abundance of good draft picks or people to bring in this year, not draft picks, I guess, but people to bring in on free agency that a guy like Kadeem Carey's a third or a fourth option or fifth option even, I guess, because we're going to be talking about somebody else before even Kadeem Carey signed. Another neat little factor, though, that I wanted to give you guys on AJ Ouellette. He's actually not the first wrestler in Saskatchewan that's playing on the active roster right now. Lake Cote Moore had a professional trial with the WWE in December. So, steel cage match between the defensive lineman and the running back. Has to happen.
I mean, I'm sure every other team would be fine with that, injure your own team.
Well, wrestling's, they
oh, yeah, injure, air quotes,
injure,
right?
Yes,
yeah,
injure.
Exactly.
Does that mean we could put a fake cast on somebody? Anyway,
wouldn't put it past them. Yeah, AJ Ouellette, big deal there going to Saskatchewan. Credit to you, Adam. You called that one. I had him re-signing in Toronto. I thought they would maybe get that deal done, but yeah, they're losing a lot of pieces here. Another free agent that was rumored to go to Saskatchewan, or they were at least in heavy talks with, ends up going to BC, and that's William Stanback, who was granted his release by the Montreal Alouettes about a week ago. We talked about that on last show, I believe. I like Stanback to the Lions. I think that's a perfect addition for them. They're not a run-heavy team. They're going to be the pass-heavy team. They like what they saw in Taquan Nazell last season in his first year. I thought he looked pretty good. He had 773 yards in just 14 games last year. Stanback can still run really well. He proved that in the Grey Cup, but he's not a guy that I'm banking on a full 18-game workload, I think, after his injuries. So I see it a 1A, 1B situation between those two guys in BC, and I think that's a really good fit and probably one of the best fits out there for him. Trey, what do you think?
No, I agree. I don't know. I've had a tough time with this one. I mean, nothing's happened the way I thought it was going to go, so maybe I don't have a great sense on what the teams need. But, I mean, yeah, great fit. Adam?
Yeah, I think this is a really good fit for the BC Lions. Taquan Mizell gets a little bit of a guy to learn from with William Stanback there, I think. And William Stanback gets maybe a little bit of an opportunity to prove Montreal wrong. I think he can still run. You're right, Ryan. It just can't be all the time. NBC won't rely on him a lot because they do have a pass-heavy offense and a quarterback that's very mobile as well. He also has worked with Vernon Adams before, so I think it was a great fit for William Stanback to go to BC.
Yeah, so 3 big names off the market at the running back position. Another one, more so a big impact in the return game. The best return man in the CFL, Javon Leake, going over to the Edmonton Elks. I'm pretty happy I hit the nail on the head with my prediction on this one. Javon Leake going to the Elks. I think I was reading $125,000, one of the highest paid special teams players in the CFL, and honestly, I think it's kind of justified. This man is special. 4 return touchdowns, 2,000 return yards for him last season. Edmonton finally got their first return touchdown late in the year last year since Kendall Lawrence, I think, did it in 2015. This is a team that has not had good special teams play in a very long time, including the return game. So to bring a piece like that in as the top return man in the CFL, also they need to back up running back. They released Shannon Brooks, so they needed to back up behind Kevin Brown. He's an athlete. He's got the speed. He's a guy that I think Chris Jones, we know he likes athletes. So I think he's a guy that can just fill that role for them there. Adam, what do you think about Javon Leake?
Yeah, perfect pickup for the Edmonton Elks. Can compete a little bit, give Kevin Brown that little bit of a push in training camp to get him going maybe a little bit earlier than what he did last year, and also can return footballs. So I think it's a win-win. Interesting that they signed Kyron Moore back and signed on Javon Leake. I mean, I guess Kyron Moore is going to be more of a receiver than I would think a special team kind of guy. I know they was running both in Edmonton last year. So no matter, you got two good returners now. You don't have to tire one out, or you put one on one side, one on the other. And that could be very dangerous for the Edmonton Elks going forward. Trey, what did you think of this signing?
No, I liked it. Quick question is, why is his name escaping me right now? Janarian Grant, is he a free agent? I thought I saw somewhere that he was, but I didn't know that.
He is, yes.
He is? Okay.
And I don't believe he's been brought back yet.
No, then I guess he's next up, I guess, if you want a special teams guy. And I'm actually surprised, like, maybe it's the Canadian game and I just get too lost in the NFL. How many times do we see them bringing in a kick returner, kind of thing, and you're paying a guy $100-some thousand? But I mean, it's so important in the CFL game, and you want that top guy. And Janarian Grant's been hurt the last few years, so I guess you go after him, and that's great. And we'll see how the dominoes go there. That's also a position that you usually go with it's a position you usually go with sometimes the unknown rookie, right? Who just has speed. So it's interesting but I mean, does Edmonton have some cap space to burn right now, I guess? And so hopefully it works out.
I think Edmonton's just the team that's tried to do that for the last 8 years and not had much success with bringing in the unknown rookies. So, they see the opportunity to shore him up, and maybe he gets more involved in the offense too. I always vouch for that. Like Devontae Dedmon in Ottawa, I've always thought he deserves a role in the receiving game there. I would like to see Javon Leake mixed into some packages there as well. So a lot of the running back market is kind of sorted out for the most part now. We mentioned Kadeem Carey. Possibly we'll see if he goes to Toronto. The other big name still out there, Jamal Morrow. Now that we've seen some of these pieces fall into place, do you guys see a spot from him anywhere that stands out, Adam?
Not a whole lot. I mean, we were saying Hamilton a little bit, just as a compliment to James Butler, but that could be a lot of cap money, depending what exactly Jamal Morrow is going to get. At the moment, I don't want to say UFL, but UFL?
Yeah, that's kind of where I lean too, right?
Yeah, it's kind of getting full up right now, right? The running back roster spots.
Yeah, because Montreal, I doubt they would bring in a third. It seemed like the Antwi-Fletcher combo. Winnipeg's shored up with Oliveira Augustine. The Riders should be done now after bringing Ouellette in. BC just made their move. Calgary, maybe if they want to give, Mills kind of split with Mills and have Logan focused on returns, maybe Ottawa tandem with Devontae Williams there. But I think Jamal Morrow is a talented enough running back to still be a starter in the CFL. Like, I'm a big fan of Morrow and his usage. I think he's very underrated. But I just don't know if there's any spots left out there for him. So he may be one of those unfortunate odd man out situations. Maybe he goes off to the UFL. Maybe he goes unsigned at the start of free agency. And then somebody inevitably gets injured week one, and we see him brought in as a pretty good free agent acquisition in training camp or mid-season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last year it was Kadeem Carey, wasn't it? First game of the year, yeah. And he was injured. So, I mean, there's always an opportunity, and maybe Morrow has to just wait till either training camp or regular season starts.
Moving on to some of the other positions here and some of our big news. I think the other biggest shoe to drop today was the re-signing of wide receiver Dalton Schoen with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on a 1-year extension. Did anybody see that as being an actual possibility, Trey? Did you have any inclination? Because I didn't see that coming one bit.
No, I thought Schoen and Oliveira had good chances of being gone, so definitely didn't think they'd sign them both. But I mean, after what Kyle Walters did last year, are we really shocked? And I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow snuck in a few more of those guys like we listed, Janarian Grant. Do we have any other receivers is like Rashid Bailey?
Bailey is a free agent.
Now, did he take a cut last year to come back? Wasn't he one of the ones that took a cut last year to come back? Now is he gone? Likely. And yeah, you got to factor in you're paying a little extra for Adam's favorite player, Chris Streveler, in the backfield, right? So I mean, that salary cap's getting eaten up. I don't know how he fits it in. Like, unless he literally pays the rookies under league minimum, I don't know how he does it. But and they only have, what were they, like 60,000 over salary cap last year or something like that? It wasn't crazy. That's one rookie player. Like, it's not. I don't know. It's not like they're going $1 million. It's not like Tampa Bay Lightning, Ryan.
Hey, long-term injured reserve. That's the key.
Yeah, salary cap. I never heard of her. Pretty much the definition of Winnipeg. Anyways, no, I was stunned that they actually could make this work for Dalton Schoen. He either took a real hometown discount or something, because there was just no way I could see him and Brady Oliveira on the same roster at the same time. I mean, that's well over $500,000 right there alone. Add Zach Collaros' contract onto it, and maybe one or two others, Willie Jefferson's and Adam Bighill's. You're well over $1 million, as I would think, unless there's some real hometown discounts coming in.
Oliveira, Schoen, and Collaros are $1 million right there, what they're reported, and then you add Streveler, Willie, Big Hill, a couple of those other guys, you're almost up to $1.5 to $2 million. That's wild.
Yeah, without even bringing in, like, you need a 53-man roster.
Show me the rule.
Now, how many guys have taken pay cuts, though, right? Like, Kenny Lawler was a big, expensive free agent acquisition last year. He restructured his contract. I'm sure a number of other guys, Stanley Bryant, seemingly, took a bit of a discount there as well. So how many of these guys are just taking those discounts? And it's crazy to see that many of guys do it that we're hearing year after year. And that kind of takes me into my other topic that we'll get to here next after final thoughts on Dalton Schoen here. So we'll go there next. But anything else on Schoen?
Yeah, just like when you're looking at all these contracts, though, Ryan, yes, I know that they're taking discounts. But look at the sheer number of contracts that have to be reasonable, right? I mean, Kenny Lawler, Nick Dembski. You've got, like you said before, Collaros, Big Hill. You've got Willie on the one side. You've got who else am I thinking of that I'm not even Rose would have a reasonably good contract.
He's a free agent.
Is he going to be free? Okay.
Yeah.
But even then, there's so many contracts that Winnipeg has that are got to be pretty reasonable contracts to keep the guys. And yet, even Wolodarski, I mean, wasn't he just re-signed?
Yeah.
He didn't take league minimum, I'm sure. There's so many contracts that Winnipeg has that you got to sit there and just either be amazed at the work of Kyle Walters or the amazed of the work of Mike O'Shea to keep everybody in the same focus and keep them on the same page, because boy, that's something that they can do.
I don't want to be too conspiracy-y but I wonder too, the handshake deals, like a city like Winnipeg right now and how the fan base is going. How many of these guys on the team could get a job day one with Big Hill at IG and at a car dealership and with who owns it? There's a former Bomber works at one. I hear him on the radio all the time. What's his name escaping me? What?
Mims?
No, it was somebody else. But anyway, you know what I mean? There's guys. Westwood was on the radio way longer than he should have been, but he was on it. Walby was on the radio at times. You got Brown on the radio. You go, this is a city where I wonder, even if it's not a straight conversation between Wade Miller and Kyle Walters, I wonder if that goes into it where these guys know they can't play football after 30-35. And Winnipeg, I don't know. And I'm not saying other cities can't. Saskatchewan's got that. You got Henry Burris living in Ottawa. You have these guys who do it. And I wonder if certain culture around it helps with that too, where you're like, you know what? I will take 100,000 over 150 elsewhere, because if I go to 150 in Hamilton, I don't have that same guarantee where my after football career is the same. That's all I wonder, because especially that's why Patty Mahomes gets his $55 million, because he doesn't give a shit about what happens after football, right? He's set. So
yeah, it's a good point. And I didn't see Schoen coming back. I thought Oliveira would come back. I didn't see a case where that meant Dalton Schoen could fit here in Winnipeg. But kudos to them for getting it done, because I think he's one of the top receivers in the league. And how many times this year are we going to see the same play where Zach Collaros pressures on him, rolls out to the right, fires it downfield, Dalton showed another touchdown. It's his go-to play when he needs a key play, and it seems to work pretty effectively for them. And so they bring Schoen back for another year, which we didn't really think was going to be possible. The other side of the coin, out east, the Toronto Argonauts, we talked about them losing AJ Ouellette already. This team is getting decimated, and free agency hasn't even officially begun yet. Some of these names that they've lost in the past couple of days: Boris Beatty, Adarius Pickett, Jamal Peters, AJ Ouellette, Javon Leake, Brandon Barlow. I'm sure a number of other guys here for Toronto as well. And this is the 16-2 team last year that is now losing all of their pieces. We saw the same thing with Calgary many years in a row too, right? Where they were always the class of the league, and everybody stole their free agents come free agency. So what is the difference between these teams like Calgary and Toronto, where you see half the team go, and there's a lot of concern around Toronto right now because of all the pieces they're losing after a historic season? But then Winnipeg's found a way to make it to 4 straight Grey Cups and still pretty much keep all of the major pieces. They'll lose 1 or 2, but replace them. How do they do it, Adam? Like, what's the difference here? Why isn't Toronto able to keep the team together like Winnipeg is?
I think it's you know what? I think it's partly like Trey said, it's the market. When you go to Winnipeg, you know, the fans all know you. They want you around. They have opportunities to do speaking engagements. They have all sorts of cool little things. I know this is a part of Saskatchewan's big thing as well for their push, that you become a part of the family essentially in Saskatchewan. Everybody jokes about everybody kind of being the old banjo picking guys, but it's true. It works out on both sides of this thing. Winnipeg, you know what? I think it really has to do with the coaches a lot, because Mike O'Shea, something about him, people seem to like the teams or players that go with Mike O'Shea stay with Mike O'Shea. They don't want to leave Winnipeg because of the coaching staff. It seems like a lot of as well. The coaching staff in Toronto has changed. If you look, it used to be Corey Mason there as a defensive coordinator, and of course you still have Ryan Dinwiddie, but they play for their coordinators once in a while, and the coordinators don't change a lot in Winnipeg. The coaching doesn't change a lot in Winnipeg. You know what you got, and you know where you fit in the roster. And I think a lot of guys just look at that and say, boy, that's some stability that I've got in Winnipeg. That's why they stay, my opinion. Trey, I think you said that before, though.
Oh, hands down. And when you talk about Toronto, let's be real. How many non-CFL fans knew who Chad Kelly was at the All-Star game? You know what I mean? I can't imagine non-CFL fans. There's probably CFL fans that probably wouldn't have noticed right away. But, you know, like Adam said, places like Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, my girlfriend knows who Brady Oliveira is just because, you know what I mean? You got certain guys, she knows who Drew Wolotarski is. There's people who not the biggest fans will know because Chad Kelly isn't making the front page of the Toronto Sun, but these other guys are making it in Winnipeg, right? And it's just more of a, for that and the coaching, right? Because where did a couple of Toronto players go? To Saskatchewan, and didn't Saskatchewan get a coach from Toronto, like Adam said too? So that's where I see it goes, Ryan.
Yeah, I think you both hit the nail on the head with a lot of what you've said there. And I wonder, like, the CFL is, like, the money you make in the CFL for most guys is not going to be able to set you up for life. And they know that, right? Like, many are looking at the post-football opportunities, and I do think there's more of those in Winnipeg maybe than there is in Toronto for them. But I also think because careers are so short and it's not enough money you're chasing that's probably going to set you up for a lifetime, how many of these guys are just chasing a ring? Like, you have such a short experience in football that you are searching for that championship, and you've been to the championship 4 years in a row, and know that if you keep the core together, you have the talent to probably get back there again, versus you never know, like I was saying with what happens if Oliveira goes somewhere else and it doesn't work out the same. You don't know if the pasture is always greener somewhere else, right? So I think that's a big piece of that mentality, and that's probably been instilled in them by the coaching staff and O'Shea and crew as well, that we've got a good thing and we can keep running this back as long as we want.
Yeah, and I think you maybe hit the bigger point, Ryan. In the CFL, you're not playing for. You're right. You're not playing for the money. Essentially, you're playing because either for a Grey Cup ring, and you want to be the winner, right? Everybody wants to be a winner, and in Winnipeg, it's been a winning team for a long time, right? When
It's weird to hear you say that. I'm sorry to cut you off there, but it's still weird to me after 30 years of misery, to hear you say that.
I'll take this hat off for a minute. Anyways, in Saskatchewan, I mean, it had a winning way there for a while, right? In 2006, 2007, and it went all the way until 2014. People wanted to come to Saskatchewan because they were winners. They played hard. They had a winning team. They had a winning culture. And in 2015, they kind of went downhill. Then 16, 17, it got worse. And now you got to start at the bottom. And what they've done this year so far has been pretty good, but it takes a while to get there. Winnipeg's been there now for quite a little while. Since 2018, essentially, whenever Zach Calaro showed up, this team has become a winning team, and people really do seem to fall for a winning team. Players want to win.
Shocking, right?
Win the
I
game.
know.
Yeah.
But, it's a lot easier to do a lot of things when you win.
Very true. Very true. I think the Argos are still going to be okay. I think they have a lot of depth. Like, these are big names that they're losing, but they were a team that I think was one of the most deep in the CFL. But it's going to hurt. Like, no doubt about it, losing some of these pieces. One piece they did bring in as they lost a couple of pieces was kicker Liram Haralahu is back in the CFL after going to the NFL, I believe the USFL last season. Let's see. Let's talk special teams, I guess, a little bit. Haralahu off to Toronto, Boris Beattie off to Edmonton, and the Ticats have re-signed Mark Leggio and Kari Vedvik as their kicking punting duo. Trey, you've seen most of these guys in Winnipeg before. Any thoughts on the kicking market right now?
I'm glad I don't drink anymore, because when I used to go to Bomber games drunk trying to say Aralahu, like I can't even say it's sober. But yeah, no, like glad to see him back. He couldn't quite stick in the NFL and other. Was he the one that had an awful day in Dallas?
No, that was Brett Maher.
Oh, okay, Maher. Yeah, but why do I feel like Aralahu was still in Dallas? But anyway, I can't remember where he was. But
Might have been.
Yeah, and it's good to have him back. I wonder if they got him at a discount, because I can't. I mean, I guess he's a little. Is his record better? But Boris Beattie wasn't bad either. So I don't know how that shook down if Boris Beattie was moving to Edmonton first, even though that didn't come till later. But I would like to see that. And I just want to know what's going on in Winnipeg, because do we have Castillo locked down?
He is not. He is currently a free agent.
Right, and we brought in that other guy, like a rookie or something. So I wonder if Castillo's on the market now too. Would he be the next big fish with a boot on? Because I don't think Troy Westwood's coming back. Adam, how do you think? You guys, who's your kicker again? I can't remember.
Paul McCallum. No, I'm kidding. No, we have Brett Lawler. We locked him down already for 3 years. 3 years, actually. So, our kicking game is locked in for a long time in Saskatchewan. Liram Haralahu, really a great kicker. 215 pounds. He used to play defensive line as a high schooler, so that's kind of cool. I guess when the returner's coming down the other way, look out for the kicker in Toronto. Boris Beattie, though, off to Edmonton. Last year, I can't even remember if they had a kicker that...
Dean Faithful,
that's who it was. Yeah. Well, Edmonton isn't to him. I'm sure he's probably on the way out.
Took me a second. Nice.
Okay, I gotta get my puns in when I can.
Can we just stop with the dad jokes after that intro today, guys?
That intro was perfect. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was great. It was perfect.
Anyways, like I say, Boris Beattie will go there. He'll be kicking, and I don't know if he does field kickoffs or punting, but we'll see what happens there.
I think Beattie does all three.
He does do all three? Okay.
Yeah.
So, that would mean Chris Jones can bring in another athlete of some sort because he has an extra space. So knowing Chris Jones, he just loves that. So, not really much to say on kickers. I mean, yeah, Sergio Castillo is a big one. I think Justin Medlock already moved somewhere, didn't he? If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he's
to retirement. Yeah.
Did he? I think somebody signed him.
No.
Justin Medlock? No.
I'm sure. I gotta go take a look. I'll take a look. You guys continue.
100% no. He's in like the Bombers Hall of Fame or something like that.
Yeah, they just put him in the Hall of Fame.
Sorry, I'm thinking of the other boy that just went to Hamilton last year.
Leggio.
Mark Leggio?
Mark Leggio. There it is.
You get those. Getting those two mixed up will get you in trouble here, Matt.
2 future CFL Hall of Fame kickers for the Bombers, right?
Sure.
Bombers are bringing him back on a one-day contract.
I gotta look, but I thought Mark Leggio signed somewhere.
Yeah, he re-signed in Hamilton.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah. Justin Medlock, no. Always sharp at him.
Add that one to the blooper reel.
Maybe John Ryan's coming out of retirement. I don't know. He was more of a bomber.
All right, let's talk about a team we know you're more familiar with the names there, Adam. It's the Saskatchewan Roughriders and all of the moves they've made today and yesterday. Among them, and add any I'm missing here, offensive lineman Jamarcus Hardrick going over from the Bombers, being the highest paid American offensive lineman in the CFL, around $240,000 to go to the Riders there. Then they kicked today off with Jameer Thurman signing at linebacker there. I don't think that's all they did today, right? Well, AJ Ouellette, we talked about that one already. Defensive back was Jalen Edwards Cooper, the highest paid defensive back in the CFL.
Temporarily until Adarius Pickett.
Adarius Pickett signed.
Sorry, no, Jamal Peters signed.
Jamal Peters. And Godfrey Onyeka getting a contract extension there for Saskatchewan. I think that might be all of them. I'm trying to scroll through the old Discord list here, but that looks like it for me. So busy day for the Riders. What do you think?
Actually, I'm real happy with it. As I said earlier when we began the show, Jameer Thurman and CJ Rivas on the linebacking core, I like. That's really a really good signing. However, it's going to mean probably Larry Dean is going to become a free agent. I think that's just a business decision essentially for the Riders. So we'll see how that one works. The other signings that we had today, Hardrick, that was a great one. The Riders had to bring in some offensive line help. That's a big offensive line help. Former Rider, went to Winnipeg, came back to Saskatchewan. So that's always a nice thing. We also brought in the defensive back there. Again, the name just slips me there. He's from BC. What was the name again, Ryan?
Jalen Edwards Cooper.
Edwards Cooper. No, had zero touchdowns against last year. I don't know how they track that, but okay, sounds cool.
Well, he never let a touchdown on him specifically in coverage, right? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So real good for him. So like I said, that'll be a good signing for the Riders, who are pretty light right now in defensive backs. I think they need to bring in maybe 1 or 2 more. And I know they're in the market for a few more people. We've heard the rumors about Tim White in possibly talking to Saskatchewan.
Makes no sense to me.
Makes total sense to me. We need an American receiver just like Winnipeg has. And then also the other one that Saskatchewan is still on the hunt on, Matthew Betts. There was talk. I think that's kind of cooled off a little bit now from what I've heard. And Saskatchewan overall, though, they're better than they were yesterday. Let's put it that way. So with the signing in running back, the signing in offensive line, I hope they still have maybe room for another offensive lineman, either looking at maybe Jeff Gray. That would be a dagger to Winnipeg right at the moment with their offensive line. Or I would imagine they might be taking a look as well at the Ottawa offensive lineman that just got released. Jacob Ruby might be an option as well for Saskatchewan. But I think they need a Canadian offensive line that's got a little bit of veteran with them. So, because I did not hear anything about Johnson as well being re-signed in Saskatchewan. So if he isn't getting re-signed, they got to bring somebody else in. I would love to see Jeff Gray, just because Winnipeg fans would feel like they got stabbed in the heart.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm sure it is.
Take him.
Right. How's Zach Collaros' head, by the way?
Ah, man. Yeah, I actually didn't think about that. I was more worried about our run game. I was like, who's going to block for Oliveira? I didn't even think about who's going to block for my boy Collaros. It just means more Strevy reps, I guess.
Gonna have to have Strevy running a lot this year because he's gonna have to.
Yeah, Strevler will be the blocker. There you go. That's the game plan. You can have two QBs out on the field. One can just line up in front of the other there. So,
can we talk a little bit about Tim White? What are you doing, Hamilton? Like, seriously, he's the best receiver probably, arguably, in the league. Like, what are you doing letting him go? I mean, is the number that crazy? And watch him turn around and sign Lucky Whitehead or something. Weird to me.
Yeah, Tim White's the biggest named free agent wide receiver on the market at all, in my opinion. Maybe you could argue him versus Dalton Schoen, but it's really those two were the big names. He led the league in receiving yards last year at 1,269. I think he was tops or near the tops the year before as well. They didn't have great quarterback play last year in Hamilton, and he still managed to hit that despite a slow start to the year and some quiet games. So that just shows how dominant he was when he was on. I think any team's lucky to have Tim White. I just don't think, I saw that the Riders were a team rumored to be in on him. Doesn't make a whole ton of sense to me necessarily, because I think they're pretty set up with the young guns they've got at wide receiver. But any team should at least be kicking the tires on Tim White. Watch him come to the Bombers. Watch if the Bombers somehow fit that in. If that's when we send the IRS over to IG Field or Princess Auto Stadium. If that happens, but no. I think
CRA has to go over there. I don't know if the IRS goes there, but
CRA.
American
or the
dollars.
CRA, yeah, whatever. I don't know, Trey. Any thoughts on Tim White and being the big name out there at wide receiver?
I don't know. Maybe just pissed me off a lot in fantasy, so I say good. But other than that, I mean, I'm just surprised. Like, I get he's the best, but I guess it's tough in my mind to say when Schoen and Oliveira get 230. Why this guy gets 70,000 more. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve 300,000, but is that something teams are looking at and saying, well, Oliveira with a Canadian passport who probably produces more just on the ground, and then Schoen, who when healthy was producing similar, gets less. So maybe that's what they're looking at right now. I don't know. Hamilton restructured with Bo. Maybe that ate up something. I don't know. But where was Tim White before?
He's always been in Hamilton.
Or maybe I'm getting someone else mixed up then. Okay. I don't know. It was just they're also going to lose Simone Lawrence, it sounds like, right, Hamilton? So, I mean, maybe they're just changing of the guard a little bit,
No, I was kind of also surprised they let Jameer Thurman walk as well. I mean, that's a linebacking core if you do lose Simone Lawrence. Jameer Thurman had a great year last year. I mean, I don't know why, again, that Hamilton is essentially giving him up, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what Hamilton does.
And seeing where Tim White lands, if you look at other teams that might be in on him, I could see Montreal, I could see Ottawa potentially going that direction as well, and maybe having some money, although Montreal's got some big contracts on the defense side, at least. We'll see where Tim White goes. I agree. Hamilton's got to find a way to lock him up because there's not a ton of top tier options on the market. And if you're going to next season with Terry Godwin as good as he's been as your number one receiver, who's also a free agent and they could potentially lose, yeah, it's going to be a pretty unproven core for the Ticats there. Let's talk a bit about Ottawa, some of the things they've done. They've been busy the past couple of days here as well. Wide receiver Justin Hardy, 1,000-yard receiver last year. He gets a contract extension. So, even if they don't get Tim White, then they obviously can't get Dalton Schoen, even though we talked about them as being a possibility for him. I think they're pretty set with the likes of Hardy and Rhymes and Acklin and oh gosh, why do I always start listing them off and then never remember who the other one I'm thinking of are? Who else is there's another big name here? Braylon Addison. That was the other one I was thinking of there for Ottawa. I think they're pretty set. The one spot that is a question mark for me is Canadian wide receiver after they released Nate Bahar. And they still owe him $30,000 this year because he had a guaranteed contract. So that one puzzles me quite a bit. There's not a ton of Canadian receivers out on the market. Like Tommy Neald's your top one. There's guys like Hakuna Vanu, Brendan O'Leary, Orange, etc. out on the market as well. None of these are going to be a game breaker. Maybe they look at just a cheaper internal option to make some of the other moves work. But I don't know, any thoughts on the release of Nate Bahar, who seemed like a really big member of the community there too?
The community part confuses me because you're right. He was a big part, I think, of the Ottawa, kind of just the fan base and everything else. But I want you to look in Saskatchewan for a quick minute and tell me a wide receiver that might be available for free agency. I think it's a Canadian, if I'm not mistaken, right now. I don't believe he's re-signed a contract. Is Sam Emilus?
He is under contract.
He is? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm confused why they let go of Nate Bahar. I thought, honestly, that there was a chance that Sam Emilus was available. That's why I thought that was a 2-year deal instead of a 3. So, okay. Nope. I'll withdraw that.
Yeah, there's not a ton out there on the market for Canadian receivers, so maybe they look internally in that spot for them. Any thoughts from you on that one, Trey?
Yeah, just a little surprised, but maybe they had some other fish they were hoping to get, but I don't know. And then also we'll see how it goes. Like, yeah, maybe they were kind of in on Oliveira for the Canadian side. I don't know. Maybe they want another. I don't know. Is there someone else we're missing that's Canadian? Is O'Leary Orange re-signed in Winnipeg?
Yep, he is currently a free agent as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a cheaper guy. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe they were saving the money for some of the other options, like re-signing defensive back Damon Webb, which they did today, and signing defensive back Darius Pickett. I think that one was yesterday, maybe. He got the Argos, interestingly, released him early so that he could sign already officially with the Ottawa Redblacks. Huge get. Also, like, one of the best personalities. He's been really pumping up free agency and making it interesting all over social media. So I love that from Darius Pickett. That's a huge get for them in their defensive backfield there for Ottawa. Justin Howell, defensive back, re-signed to a 1-year contract now as well. So Ottawa's been making some moves this offseason as well, and we expected them to after what they did last year. I don't know about you guys. I just have such a hard time trusting it with Ottawa. Like, every year we come to this time of year and we talk about how well they did on paper and the moves, and we love them, and it just doesn't translate out onto the field. So I don't know what's the issue there, and do we think that the current crew they have in place can make it successful with these additions this year? Any thoughts?
I don't know. I feel like this is one of the better spots they've been in this time of year. You're right what you're saying. We get high hopes for them, but I mean, to me, I'm a little bit higher on them this year than I have been in the past. Adam, have they not done enough? I don't know. Maybe it's hard. They're in the top 3 right now. Teams have done the most, so it's hard to see them fall too far. Adam?
Al, you know what? I think everything relies on that quarterback position once again for the Ottawa Redblacks. I mean, if Drew Brown turns out to be the savior that they're hoping he's going to be a great deal, and Ottawa will be successful this year. But we've seen it all in the past. Nick Arbuckle comes in, was supposed to be a savior. Nope. James Franklin, I think, was in Ottawa for a brief moment. He was supposed to be a savior. Nope. You look at so many of these guys. Even again, they brought in from. He was. I should always know this name, and I can't even remember him now. He's been injured 2 years in a row.
Jeremiah Mazzoli.
Sorry, anyways, Jeremiah Mazzoli, he was supposed to be the guy to come in and be the guy for Ottawa. And it just seems like Ottawa has no luck ever since really Henry Burris with quarterbacks. And I mean, until they can find that genuine number one starting quarterback, I thought Dustin Crum was going to be the guy. And he, well, crumbled up. I mean, it's been, it's just been a rotating quarterback system in Ottawa. And until they find the number one guy, I can't see it. I can't see anything improving.
Yeah, that's the big question mark for me is how is Drew Brown going to play this year for the Red Blacks? And, can they consistently put an effort out there on the field in all facets to get it done, which is something that on paper every year, yeah, it looks good. But once they get out there on the field, is that going to stick is the biggest question. And I have that same question for any team that loads up in free agency. I have those question marks right now with the Saskatchewan Roughriders as well. Are these additions big enough to turn the tide for them? It's hard to know when the whole team is overhauled, but on paper, it looks good. It looks like they're making some key moves there for these teams in particular. Other movement in the defensive side of the ball around the league. We've got Jamal Peters going over to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, former Toronto Argonaut. I believe he became the highest paid defensive back in the CFL now. So guys are getting paid every year. Somebody's setting a new record, I feel like, at almost every position for highest paid player. Which is good to see these guys getting their worth. He's been a fantastic player there as well. And interception leader DeMario Houston from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers going to the Calgary Stampeders. Any thoughts on those couple of deals there? Trey, you're used to seeing DeMario Houston in a Bomber uniform. What do you think about him going to Calgary?
Is he the reason why we give up those deep plays? No, it's good. It was going to be one of those guys. Like the Bombers lost a few guys like Sales and a couple. Rose went to the NFL and came back. You're going to lose a couple of guys, especially in that secondary. You can't keep them all. I don't know what it's like in the CFL, but NFL quarterbacks and some of those secondary guys are some of the higher paid guys. So I wonder if it's kind of similar. So hard to keep them all. And Calgary needs help on defense, right? Like, I mean, do they still have Judge?
Yeah, I believe they did.
I mean, Calgary's defense wasn't their weak spot per se. If you were going to pick one thing that needed to super improve, right? So, yeah, it should be good. I mean, hope it gives what's his face Mayer more time.
Actually, Calgary's one little weak spot that I always found was their pass against game.
Okay,
they did let the deep ball go quite a bit. This will solidify quite a bit with DeMario Houston going over there. I want to talk a little bit about the Bombers' offensive line again. We said Yoshi Hardrick is gone. Saskatchewan's now got Mario and Yoshi on their team, which is great. But you know what? In Winnipeg, they had a big retirement as well today with Drew Richmond, I think it was. Yeah, 28-year-old guy.
Can't be that big of a retirement if you don't know the guy's name, Adam.
With Adam, that's not true.
That's Am I dumb? I'm not sure. I don't really recognize the name too much. Is it that big of a hole?
Yeah, no, because he was supposed to fill up Hardrick's spot. He's a 28-year-old. He's somewhat of a veteran. He was rotating in.
I wonder what that's all about. If there wasn't properly communicated that Hardrick was going, or because they were all in on Hardrick, he felt that he had to retire. Wonder how that goes. Yeah,
very interesting to see that the guy that was going to probably get his opportunity to be a starter is now gone from the CFL. And essentially, they got to put a rookie in there, or they got to find some guy for that spot. Josiah St. John, anybody?
You're going to bring this up every show, Adam?
I'm going to bring him up.
We can kick you. We can kick you. It's I knew you. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to guess that Greg McRae is coming to Saskatchewan. So.
I think he goes to Edmonton because Chris Jones loves the guy. He can play a running back, receiver, maybe return man if he needs.
Held quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Just looking at this 3 Down Nation article on Drew Richmond's retirement. So the reason you probably haven't seen his name too much before is I think he might only have like 2 starts because he missed like the most of the season in 2022 with a knee injury. And then I guess didn't get it into the starting lineup as much last year. But I guess that was, somebody they had kind of pegged in line, like you said, to take over for Hardrick, knowing they can't keep him. So, that does definitely leave some holes in the Bombers' offensive line there. Any other news from around the CFL over the past couple of days that I've missed so far that you guys want to touch on?
Maybe since we gave Toby Keith one, we should give another one to Carl Weathers, right? Creed and one of the greatest. I love him. He was on Mandalorian, Star Wars reference. So Carl Weathers, BC Lions, right in the 70s. So.
Yep.
I'll admit, you know what? I have a few: Fast and Furious and the Rocky movies. Those two, I've never seen any of the Rocky movies. So, did you guys see him? Is it good?
Honestly,
I don't watch movies.
I've never seen Rocky.
Okay. I didn't even know he was in Rocky. When I saw that he was the original Apollo Creed, I was like, "That's crazy, man." So I was like, I knew him from Arrested Development, and I knew him from Mandalorian, and that's about it.
This will come as a shock based on me never understanding any of your movie references on the podcast, but I have not seen them either. So,
you never seen Arrested Development?
No.
God, he plays himself. It's great. He hustles a guy out of $10,000 for acting lessons, and then just lives at his house. It's great. Anyway, no, that's about it for me. Anything else? Did we ever hear anything more about those kickoff rules? Was that just talk for a week when they had their meeting and then it went to bed?
Yeah, nothing more about that since. Maybe we'll hear it closer to the start of the season. I guess other moves to mention that have popped up on the timeline here. We can just quickly run through the Argos, re-signing linebacker Jack Hasser and defensive lineman Benoit Marion. Brandon Barlow, I talked about him leaving the Argos. He's going to the Ticats. So that's a big piece on the defensive line for them because they're probably going to, imagine they're going to move on from like Ted Laurent. Dylan Wynn's a free agent. So a change on the D-line there for them. I think I read he was second in sacks on the Argos last year. And they had a pretty good D-line. Just scrolling it back through more news here. This is always great to do this live on a podcast. Brandon Dozier re-signed with the Calgary Stampeders, so we talk about them needing defensive back help. I think bringing him back, he's one of the better pieces they have available there. And I think that was the most notable couple of BC moves. Offensive lineman David Kneville and Marcus Sales. We talked about him a little bit, leaving the Bombers, going over to BC. 2-year extension for him in BC. And Jake Thomas back with the Bombers for another year, the longest standing member of the organization. He's been with the team since 2012.
That's crazy. I don't know who it was, but the Bombers were at my kid's school today for I Love to Read Month, so there's CFL news.
Nice.
Yeah.
Actually, one thing, I don't know if we mentioned it was quite a little while ago, and maybe we did. Noah Zur, he was a big offensive lineman from Langenburg, Saskatchewan. Ended up signing with the Saskatchewan Roughriders now. So cool. I said that they should have signed him or picked him as a draft pick, but instead they picked Sam Emilus, which I guess turned out okay.
Yeah, it was all right.
It was an all right move. Anyway.
Is that it, guys, or do we got to do NFL picks now? So we got to do some Super Bowl picks.
We can do our Super Bowl picks here to end it out. I guess just to wrap up the CFL talk here. Yeah, lots of moves today. Probably a bunch more coming over the next couple of days. Next podcast is going to be Free Agent Frenzy 2024 next Tuesday. So any other moves that come over the next week, I mean, we'll talk about it on social media and in the Discord. But then you got 8 hours of us discussing those at length. So look forward to that. NFL picks, Super Bowls this weekend. Who's excited? I'm excited.
First of all, here's the prop bet. Will there be a doink plus 850?
I'm going to go with no.
Just to clarify, this is a kick off the upright?
There actually is no choice. No, it's either just yes for 850. Yes, that's what I'm assuming it is.
Yeah, don't tack me on that one.
And then you could also bet on the total Canadian viewers according to official statements by CTV and TSN. It's either over or under 17.5 million.
I'm going around to every television store in the city and turning the channel on and then making that bet.
Well, there's the classic national anthem. Who wins the coin toss?
I'm going on the over on that one.
I did last year and I lost. I always think it's the over, but they actually do it pretty quick. Will Taylor Swift wear a Kristen Jeswick custom design at Super Bowl 58? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Anyway, what's the line at these days?
Will Zach Calaros be at the Super Bowl? Yes or no?
Actually, oh wait,
he's got to be in the press box.
It's pretty close to a pick 'em. The Chiefs are the underdog as of now, according to Bet99 at plus 105. They're also plus 1.5 on the spread. Wow. Well, but that's San Fran's minus 125.
Will Brock
We all know what it's gonna be. Why are we even talking about this? We know what it's gonna be. It was supposed to be Baltimore and San Fran because of the logo. NFL made it last second audible because they're like, oh, this Taylor Swift chick is pretty cool. And now we're here. And me and Adam were talking about before the show when Ryan had to go potty or something that NFL 25 is going to be like Taylor Swift on the cover. And
No.
I said Kelsey on the cover.
No, I said they're going to have a Taylor Swift.
We'll have her in the game. And then I said they're going to have her, like they always have like a player. They're going to have like a little player, like a video intro, and it's going to be the love story of her and Kelsey. And then the first song's going to be like love story when you start the game. But anyway, I'll take San Fran just because I want the Swifties to cry. Adam?
I want to take San Fran so bad. I want to see Brock Purdy absolutely destroy the hopes and dreams of Kansas City because I'm sick of Kansas City winning the Super Bowl. But I think Kansas City's going to win the Super Bowl. I don't know. Big Brock there, I think, is a great quarterback, and it's great what he's done for the league to prove that a seventh rounder could actually, matter in a Super Bowl.
It's not like Tom Brady did that already.
Tom Brady wasn't the last overall pick.
He was close.
He was close. It was the absolute last pick. I mean, it's cool that the last overall pick right now is in a Super Bowl. Let his team do a Super Bowl and is now 60 minutes away from winning one. It's insane, but I'm pretty certain that Kansas City is winning this one. Unfortunately, I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. I'm just not going to do it. And I was thinking last week, during last week's games as well, we made our predictions at the end of November on our CFL season wrap-up show of which two teams we thought we'd see in the Super Bowl. I believe I, not very confidently at that time, said Kansas City and Detroit. And the Lions came within 3 points, but I picked Kansas City despite not feeling great about them at that point in the season just because of the Patrick Mahomes factor and they know how to win. And I think they're going to do it again in the Super Bowl here. So I'm going to give it to KC to get it done yet again.
You excited about Usher? I'm not really a big Usher fan. I don't hate him, but it's not. Oh. Who was last year's? Was that Rihanna?
Yeah.
Which she's like 6 months pregnant, elevated above the field. Anyway, I mean, no harness. Where's the safety guy? Like I can't go 10 feet without a safety guy getting on me. But whatever.
Maybe the safety guy was in the left shark costume during that Katy Perry performance many years ago, and maybe was no longer allowed at the Super Bowl.
He also was he was a wardrobe designer for Jackson as well.
I was gonna say nothing better than Snoop Dogg smoking a joint before going on. That's peak NFL right there.
They needed Willie Nelson to do the Super Bowl this year, just for Kobe Keith.
Beer for my horses. Anyway.
Switch it up last minute.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up and get out of here. We've said it many times. CFL Free Agent Frenzy 2024 is our next show, February 13th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Search for CF Countdown Pod or the Canadian Football Countdown on all of those. We'll be streaming live video all day long throughout the day there as well. If you can't really tune into video and want to tune into audio, The Twitch feed, if you download the mobile app, I believe has an option to listen to audio only mode, save yourself some bandwidth so you can still listen to us on the go. Fortunately, we couldn't hook this up to just a regular audio like podcast platform, but it will be also posted over the coming days and weeks. Bits and pieces of it will be posted in its entirety there as well. So look forward to that. Check it out on the Game Time TV YouTube page as well. Thanks to our presenting sponsor for helping make that all happen. Really excited for that one. Really looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun. Follow us on social media in the meantime. Hey, we've actually been active on social media this week. It's amazing what this time of year brings. Follow us on Twitter at CF Countdown Pod. I have been tweeting out the pictures from our free agent tracker for Free Agent Frenzy every day, taking a look at each position and seeing what names are available out there on the board. So if you want to see who's a free agent at each position, go check that out. And also sharing some thoughts on the big news as it drops throughout the week there as well. So at CF Countdown Pod on the old X.com, Facebook.com/CF Countdown Pod there as well. Let's start with you guys here. Adam, where can people find everything you've got going on?
Yeah, you can find me at Adam Stewart 1. Most times right now, either I'm posting about senior hockey or talking a little bit about CFL. I'm going to try to talk a little bit more this week about the CFL and the free agency and all that good stuff. Try to get some more good information for you. But in the meantime, you can follow me at Adam Stewart 1. Not a whole lot of farm stuff though right now. Maybe when calving season starts, and we'll maybe show you what that's all about. Trey, where can people find you?
Absolutely nowhere. Leave me alone. No, you can find me at Trey Harnessling on
This is the guy running like 3 podcasts.
Jesus Christ. I know. I didn't even realize how much in a row I had to do this week. So, you find me at Trey Harnesslink. I'll have my harness racing show Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Make sure to follow. Even if you don't care, just view it for 5 seconds because that's a view, and I'm a view whore, and that's okay. That's all I want. It helps. Should be at 25,000 tomorrow. That's what I'm hoping for. I need like 70. So I have to have like the worst show ever not to hit it. Follow my UFC show. Should be Thursdays. That's actually been going surprisingly well. I don't know why people listen to it after, but I'll take it. They probably just be like, what's this idiot doing? That's about it. What else do I got? Nothing else that I can mention right now. So that's it. While
I'm out at all the TV stores putting the Super Bowl on there to get to win that bet, I'll make sure to find all the laptops and put your show on there to get you those views you need, Trey.
Appreciate it.
Yes, check that all out as well. Mike makes his triumphant return to the podcast on Free Agent Frenzy Day next Tuesday.
Is that confirmed
on social media? Most likely. Hopefully he'll be here. I'm pretty confident in that one. So we're excited to have him back for Free Agency Day. At Mike Garrell on Twitter if you want to follow him there. You can find me there also at Cooper Trooper 42. Occasionally tweeting out predictions on CFL free agents there as well. Half of them being wrong, but half of them being right. I'll take it. Check out the Discord community as well for all the extra content and discussion we've got going there. Link in the episode description. And if you want to see other CFL or football shows, check out the Canadian Football Podcast Network at CF Pod Network on Twitter. Also, check out the Alternative Football Network, alternativefootballnetwork.com. And at the official AFN on social media there as well. And perhaps look forward to some familiar faces and content in the near future there. You can find us on our website as well, alternativefootballnetwork.com. We will be back on Tuesday with the big live show. Follow us on all these social media platforms and whatever podcast platform you are listening or watching on. We appreciate it if you do all the fun things such as like, comment, subscribe, rate, review, share the show with your friends, help us grow the show. We always appreciate that. We love all the support we get along the way. Thank you very much. On behalf of Trey and Adam, I'm Ryan saying thank you for listening. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.